Yeah, so like let me know, what are you kind of like wondering, I guess, like ahead of time? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, for sure, for sure. Got it. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we'll, go through it and figure it out, but that is helpful to know. I think the biggest thing whenever you're changing picks, I guess, and this is probably something that you're probably noticing, especially if you're used to playing Mordred and you're used to playing jungle, you're probably really used to like the whole play call being just to dive and fight. And if that's, like when you're playing certain picks, that's going to be better sometimes and worse sometimes. And Serb, I think, is one of those gods that you absolutely can full dive, but if that's not working, you have a lot more wiggle room to not play that way and still be effective. So we'll try to like, see because sometimes there's going to be games where it's just kind of hard to dive, and I can already see from their draft, they have triple guardian. This is probably Geb supporter, Geb solo, whatever it is. They just have a lot of peel, a lot of CC. If you're playing to full commit, which if you're playing a god like Mordred or something, you might be pretty comfortable with doing, or even some of these junglers. A draft like this could be a big problem to dive, at least especially with like a guy like Agni who tends to do well into Serb. That doesn't mean it's like an unplayable Serb game or anything. It just means, it might be a little bit tricky. Uh, One thing I would recommend, so I think this start, by the way, like build wise, is generally fine. I like going Shell, I think that's good. And 6 health pots also to me is generally fine. You want to try to look at, and this is I think here where it's good that you're looking at this, but I would have looked at it a little bit earlier. But you want to try to figure out, obviously, number one, who you're laying against if you can, which you can see here, Geb, and try to like match your build with the pick you're against. So what I'll say, number one, I think just straight up on Guardians, for the most part, if not always, I'm trying to think if there's an exception. I don't think there is. Going Bluestone is just straight up better. And the idea is there's a couple of points behind it. But generally speaking, you'd probably wonder, well, why not conduit? Because it's like wave push clear, right? It's like that 60 damage on the conduit when you have the 20 stacks on the wave and you kind of insta kill. And that's what mages do, right? But the idea is that on a guardian, your damage source is like overall pretty low, right? Your cooldowns are kind of long and your auto attacks are garbage, and you don't have range. You have range in like your abilities, but you don't have range auto attacks. And even your abilities that are ranged aren't like, you know, way out there. It's pretty short, right? So when you have Bluestone, the point is you're going to be auto attacking a decent amount, and when you have Bluestone, that strength on your auto attacks like really actually makes them impactful. Whether you're autoing totems or autoing like the big harpies when you're doing the littles down here or up here, or even if you're autoing the chest camp, or even just the person after you two or before you two, whatever the case might be, you're gonna find that your damage is a lot better off across the board. The other thing, and this is kind of just a flavor thing, I just think it's important to note, looking at your matchup, this lane, Serb into Geb, should be pretty favored for you. Now, how should you know that, or why should you know that? Some of it is kind of just like comfortability and familiarity, having played the picks, right? You'll kind of like develop that rapport, obviously, but a lot of it here too is just from a pure pressure perspective, especially since he has aspect. He really has no way to interrupt your two, and he also just doesn't have good fight pressure, right? It's a Geb. It's not a Hercules or I almost said Osiris or like an Achilles or something. So as a result, you probably don't need to go 6 health bots. So I say all that to say, yeah, choice on the 6 health is just like if you think you're really going to get bruisered up and bullied, go this. If not, get a tier 1 because you can like pressure and build a bigger lead. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, no, it totally makes sense. I mean, I think right, and that absolutely makes sense. I guess what I would say is like he's fighting on a god that you're stronger than early, especially if you go Bluestone, you're just gonna win them. So if you want to go 6 health pots and say like, okay, we can outlast, I don't think that's ever like a bad call. It's just more so like if I go 3 with a tier 1, like let's say we go 3 health pots and I don't know, first item, let's say you decide to build Voidstone. You get that tier 1 either magical defense or you get the tier 1 intelligence. You're just gonna like do more damage than him already. And yes, like you have less pots, so you have like less to play with. But if he's playing aggressive and he commits on you and you have a stronger build, and you have Shell, like you're just gonna kill him. You know what I mean? So it's like it just. Do you want to play into the this build is saying okay, we're playing long and we're playing to like withstand the storm, I guess so to speak. What I'm saying is that as you kind of like build a bit more familiarity with matchups, you should see this and say, okay, I'm just gonna like my play is to push a lead. So I want to get a tier 1. I'll get a chalice later. I'm gonna just go 3 health pots in a tier 1 and in a bluestone, and I'm just gonna like get ahead, and then I'll have excess gold to buy the stuff. You see what I'm saying? So like you're building like a little too like protective for this. Now again, I'm not saying don't do this. I'm just saying that's the thinking you should go into a lane with and say like, okay, this matchup, if I feel like I'm not worried, let me not build like I'm worried. That's all. I just think it's gonna be helpful. Yeah. It's more so like when the lane is like you're gonna be getting beat up and you can't really withstand it. So like for example, if you're into a Cabrakan just in general, that's usually like, man, I'm just getting hit all the time and the damage is actually there. Achilles is another one, right? Even Chalk can be another one. I think it somewhat is dependent on like how aggressive you're looking to be, but it's also about how much damage you kind of expect to take. So if you're into a god like Gab, even if he wants to really fight, his damage is just not going to be high enough. Where a god like Achilles can kind of just kill you at level 2. That's not going to happen with a Geb the same way. So some of that is familiarity, but I would just look at it in like, okay, 1v1 perspective, which god should win this lane? If it is my character, do I need to go 6 health pots? Because a lot of lanes, right? You play Thor into Cabrakan, you play Mordred into Cabrakan, right? You play Mordred even into Achilles. You might say, hey, I want to go 6 health pots because I don't really win this. I just kind of survive it, and then I get Phoenix Shield, and then I'm okay. But until then, I'm not okay. Here, you go Bluestone, you go 3 health pots, you're just going to kill him. Now, even then, that doesn't mean you're not going to do good with this build, but it's just like, the point is, again, is like, I think a lot of what climbing is you are able to build a lead and maintain that lead and increase that lead. And if you can give yourself from the build like a jump on that, that's probably a pretty good look. So, we'll see how that goes. But, again, this is still fine. It's just like something I think that's worth thinking about. And yeah, again, the big thing with Bluestone, not only are you like doing more with your autos and stuff, but you're also getting physical damage with Bluestone, which I know doesn't sound that relevant, but you're also generally going Nemean on these solo builds. So when you're playing a Guardian, that's like 2 or 3 sources oftentimes, especially if you go like, Shield Splitter, which is true damage or something, if you do, where you're getting a lot of non-magical damage, and as a tank, that's impossible to build against, basically, right? Because it's just all spread all over the place, and yeah, it's kind of a problem for everybody. So it feels good. Again, I don't think you have to, but those are just the arguments for it. Nonetheless, though, this lane I'm pretty expecting to go okay. I think holding here makes sense. So what I would say, if you're holding here and he's not here, what does that mean? Do you know at this point? Yeah, there you go. Perfect. So He's solo clear blue. Now, that means that he's actually going to be a little bit ahead of you potentially. Or maybe not. I think it depends. With him losing 3, maybe not. But your whole goal here is just to push as much as you can. So I think even playing back here a little bit is just not great. And the reason why you want to push is, think about this. So he solos this, you split this, right? He solos blue, you split blue. You made a miss. I want to see how many you ended up getting here. So you got 2 of the... Well, you're going to get 5 minions, right? Of the 6. He's only going to get 3. So you have a 2 minion advantage. But he cleared this blue. The point is you're just here first. And you're starving off some farm. But it's like equaling out, obviously, right? Because he soloed his blue. You really want to take advantage of the fact that you have like the stronger minion wave here after these 3 because you're 2ing. So like right after this, which this is good, you hold this perfect. Now I really want you to pressure up because you're not going to be able to freeze anymore. He'll always come back unless he pats like all the way around, which if he does, he's just a bot. Like that's never going to happen. You want to just push right now because the point is that he actually might kind of be ahead right now, like a very subtle amount, or he's even. But if you get the wave pressure and you get these backs for free up here, you're completely ahead and the lane's like fucked for him. It's really bad. These starts are not good, right? But you have to be able to press up and punish it early. So I like this. I think this is good. I just think, especially with, again, remember, we're building 6 health pots. You may as well just use one now and continue to stay up, right? This is like not playing to what you have, right? Because you look at 6 health pots, that's, I don't know, it's a lot of health. I can't do it off the top of my head, but it's a lot. So point is you have a lot of sustain, you have a lot of healing. Just pop one, which you did. Stay up, though. Okay, we start to a little bit. Yeah, but you want to stay up, and going here to the archers, this is what you'll see with the auto-attacking. You're going to notice, like, you do auto a decent amount. I think this even got a little bit weird already, honestly. And I know it's like, I'm going to split hairs a little bit, but I think I kind of have to. Just because, like, this is, you know, how you get to it. Yeah, like, literally, if you start autoing this right away and you push up, what is he doing? He's got the aspect. He's getting a big circle, too, grouping the wave because he hits you. If you push up on this and you start hitting this, when he throws this first 2 out, I mean, he's okay, but notice how far back he has to play. So if we just continue to walk up right now, we never turn around, we just continue to walk up, what is he going to do? I know you can't, like, clear the wave, right? But you're splitting the wave so that he's not going to be able to hit you and this wave here. And what happens is because you walk back, and because we kind of walk on the side and we just give him time to get his cooldown again and we're not autoing, look what happens. He gets that 2 off on you. Now the wave's grouped, you throw your 2, and look what happens. It's just pulled back, right? It's not a huge problem, but it's just like a little bit annoying because, again, you kind of don't want him to get away with anything. Either way, still kind of an okay spot. It looks like they're just going to be not too much here. I think you'll find sometimes, by the way, in a spot like this, like literally leveling your jumps just going to be a bit better. The 1 in this game, damage-wise, is really bad. So you're going to find I tend to recommend maxing your 2 always. And sometimes even just leveling your 1 a lot of the time, like level 2 is, or 3, sorry, your jump level 2 is really good just because like you're going to get decent trades off. But either way, we're still in an okay spot. Nothing too crazy happening here. Again, I think you're backing up a little bit too much a lot of the times in these pushes. It's not a huge deal, but the only thing I just don't love about this is, again, we have so many health pots we can play up. It's not like he's going to start like running you down and autoing you. If you just stay a little bit to the right of him here and you don't like automatically kind of relinquish, what you're going to notice is he's going to get like the jump on this wave because look where he is and look where you are. He's just closer, right? So we're still kind of posturing for defensively. And we're getting to the spot like okayly, but it's just like I just want to see us like kind of there first, I guess, because we can. Even here, like, don't be afraid. Seriously, walk up. You're good. You're fine in this lane in the sense of you're not losing it. But the whole thing with climbing, especially into these kind of like bad picks, is that you're pushing on him, right? Like we have all these pots. Let's use them. Conversely, let's think about this. If we went a bluestone start with a tier 1, or even this conduit start with a tier 1, we still would have 1 health pot. So even if you're going like the sharper build, which is with only 3 health pots, in this spot you're like way in the safety, you know what I mean? You have so much extra. But even if you had went that start that's a little bit sharper and strong, you still would have had a potion at this point. I'm saying that just to say you are like really passive for the build you have. So play to it. That's all. Like just play to the fact that you're strong because you are. And that's like gonna change a lot for you. Because him getting these continued spread offs, if you can just walk at him knowing he's in this bush, he's level 2 right now. Like you can just get him to half health really easily if you just run at him. But we're playing the bush, we're playing the wave clear and stuff. And again, it's not that you're doing bad, but we're supposed to punish these picks because they don't work. And there's a reason they don't work, right? There's a reason Geb Solo is not picked a lot and Serb is like somewhat picked. So in this spot right here, I think if you want to fight him a little bit, it's okay. We're taking a lot of poke again. You just want to try to like pop your pots a little bit earlier. But right now, if you want to just like play on wave, I think it's fine. I wouldn't worry too hard about totems. I think a lot of people trip themselves up. Right here, this little trade happens. You pop your health pot and genuinely like either just run to your backs or just push the wave. I think this trade, because you know you're not going to get this, so 2ing him is like whatever, but if you just run to wave right now, you'll get the prio, go get the backs. I think the biggest thing to think about in terms of just laning is if something gives gold, fine. If something gives XP, it's worth more. So whether that's waves, camps, whatever the case might be, you prioritize those. This chest camp and totem camp just aren't like your big priority, just like outright. So that's just like a good rule of thumb. Because if we're playing to shove here and then we can go get these backs, we can come back on the next wave, get the backs or get the wave again, and then we go get our backs. We're gonna be 5, he's gonna be 4, and his blue buff's gonna spawn. And then you invade it. You know what I mean? Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So either way, like either of these backs, because the whole thing is like, especially really early. I mean, ideally you're not losing stuff just to lose it, but the point is it's not you're not losing to lose it. You're losing it to gain something. And if you're in a spot where you're hitting level 4 first, you think about it like this: you're even right now, maybe a tiny bit ahead. If you get one set of these backs when he's not, you're going to be hitting level 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and onwards first every single time. So you're literally always stronger. And especially when you think about on this first blue buff, most of the time you'll be 5, he'll be 4. That's a really big weakness, right? Because either they have to send their jungler or you just invade it. And remember, you have all these health pots. So if you play out your pots okay, like you'll be healthy and strong to do it. Stun there is fine again, but it's just like a bit rough because we're kind of back in the same spot of like, man, now we're getting out cleared a little bit. And nothing bad here is happening, but again, it's just all about like what we could have pushed, I guess, is the big thing. So the stun there again, like you're hitting your stuff, which is great. And I think here again, you just want to make sure you pop your health pot earlier because like we're sitting on, and I know this is like penny pinching here, but like even at this point, the moment it ends, right here, it's 229. This is giving what 15 health per second. So 229, we probably could have popped it, or even a little bit earlier maybe. By the time we do end up popping it, we are, you know, like 15 seconds removed from that spot. Not even now, 16, 17. 18, we're like 18 seconds removed. And I'm not saying that to say like it's the end of the world, but what I am saying is like, do you think you go in this bush if you're 30% healthier? Maybe not, you know what I mean? And again, like the point is that if you aren't going in this, look, you're already 4 keys 3. Why is that happening? Because he missed those 3. So even though he sold his blue, you're actually ahead right now. But you have to play like you're ahead, you know what I mean? This like bush hiding thing, it's just not needed. You have the lead. We look at his build for the first time this game. He literally has 0 health pots, right? And notice also what he has. He has Bluestone. Why does he have Bluestone? Because his auto attacks hit harder. That's why he wants it. So if you go that, and you're in a spot where you're 4 and he's 3, but even in this spot, you can just fight him like right now, right? Because he can't sustain. So there's just nothing for him to do. So whether that's fighting him or shoving the wave, I don't really care at this point because now he doesn't. We know he doesn't have pots. But like you just have to play up because you're ahead. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Partially, right? I think something that's going to help you out a ton, just as like a blanket rule, especially now. Um, Shell is just a better relic than Sunder for fighting. Sunder is going to get you objectives and stuff, but if he Sunders and you Shells, like at the same time, hypothetically, your Shell is like significantly out trading the Sunder. Significantly. Now that's to say his Sunder is up, which it should be, but you have to remember you have this relic too. If he has Sunder, you have Shell, and you're looking for fights, you're happy. Just straight up, because you're going to win those. So even if, and I'm going to be clear, even without the relics, you're winning that. That might just be something for you to like figure out, and that those are the kind of things that like I think you can take from this even in just the early game of like, okay, we really need to make sure we're playing up more and fighting more and playing to our strengths more. Uh, but that concept though, like Shell is just going to beat Sunder outright. So if you have Shell, and again, I'm really happy you went this. I think this is a great pickup. But if you see when I build it, I try to use it aggressively because it's a second health bar. That's how you kind of have to think about it. And here, remember we mentioned XP stuff worth more than gold. What I don't love about this is just because you're taking some poke here, and all of a sudden you come back, but we're giving him space to just like clear a little bit. We're giving him space to do stuff again. I really just want us to like, okay, we poked him out, we did this, just go to his backs. Like it's been enough time, just go to them. You're gonna notice in literally every single game, I can show you just in like one of my own games. We are going to these backs every single time so much quicker. You know what I mean? Where if I just go on like, uh, okay, this might be like super fucked because this is this shitty ass character, but or this shitty ass matchup, sorry. But like you're gonna notice these backs get cleared. It's 115, 116. This is like a really scuffed lane, and these backs are still gonna start to get walk. Okay, this is like naturally the worst example of all time. Awesome. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's just because it's Mordred, dude. Whatever. Let's just go to a different game. Hopefully you get the point. Ra. Okay, perfect. This will happen. Yeah, so like right here, this game, it's a normal game in terms of like the lane is not like completely fucked. It is 140. He's going to his backs. I'm going to mine. We're 320. Nobody's done backs, right? That's like a very clear indicator of like something is wrong. And you're also going to notice this chest camp is untouched. Why is that the case? Because again, you want those XP advantages because whoever hits the level first is better off. So yeah, sorry, go on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And look, I mean, I totally get that, but I think that's sort of like why we go the 6 health pots and why, if that's like a concern. Again, also here you really don't have to be afraid because you have shell. You're all good. You can shell and kill him, right? Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Well, I think you're on normal cast, right? Quick cast. Hey, bro, let me tell you something. Especially, I don't know if you know, but quick cast is like the shitter cast, to be honest. Now, obviously, I'm not like, you do what you got to do, but that's not going off because you're on quick cast, just straight up. Because the moment like you see that outline there, it's going off if it's on Insta. You don't have to put everything on Insta. I'm never gonna like force someone to. You should eventually. But like th- exactly right. Like there's no aiming with the shell. If you need to aim a shell, it's over. Like you just got to go on pack it up, right? So yeah, definitely like those kinds of things. But even then, I mean, this isn't something that you even have to play a shell for really. Now, obviously, it's safe to, and you probably should, but you can easily just jump this too, right? Either way is fine. I think right here you're worried like too much about getting the timing right with the shell. You can just jump away because like let's like take this in like a macro. Your jungler's coming and you know that, right? You ping him and you see this guy coming. If you want to like completely like gold player this, just jump away and let the Loki kill him, right? Like you don't have to do any outplay, any of that crap. If you want to like mechanical outplay this and be really greedy, you can jump the ult. Or you can just pop shell. You know what I mean? So like either way it's fine. But realistically here, if we're just like going from a pure like make the easiest play thing, you know your guy's coming, you know this guy's dashing in, just let it go. Because the worst case scenario, and this is what's gonna happen here, is we're gonna 1-for-1 on a gank. And you really don't want that to be the case if you can avoid it. And like let's be like totally clear with ourselves, did this have to be a 1-for-1? We can say, oh, I wish I shelled this, blah blah blah, whatever. But did it have to be a 1-for-1? No, right? We could have easily just jumped away because he's coming here and let our Loki finish it. So sometimes it's just about like, do we have a clear cut kill? And if so, like, do we need to, waste things or play a risky or whatever? And in this spot, the answer was just kind of no. But I think, totally, totally. And even, just going back to this point, like, this was all kind of fine. You could have shelled even here, like, ahead of time. Because again, you're using your shell not as a thing to protect you when you're one shot. Because notice when this guy sunders, he's sundering in the fight. That's when you want to use the shell before the damage comes, so you kind of protect yourself. And unfortunately, that just didn't happen here. So it nesses our first death, but still fixable. I mean, it's all good. I think you kind of get the point. I think going Voidstone here is solid. Just having some damage, is nice, so I totally like it. If you are into Gebs frequently, or just like you happen to go into this guy again, yeah, rarely ever, and I wouldn't expect you to. But if you're into a draft that just has shields like this, and shields are pretty common with like Bloodbound Book and uh, obviously all the supports go like heroism usually and stuff. If you want to go shield splitter first item here, it's totally fine as well. Some people don't like that much. Some people do. I think a lot of Guardian players will get like offset by the fact that it gives strength, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's a problem." The truth is, it's not, because again, like your autos and stuff are just gonna do decent damage, and like shield splitter just doing true damage, even though it got nerfed a bit, is still like a good item in games like this. So Void Stone's totally fine, but it's just an option. So yeah, even then, like despite all this, I think you're down maybe, I don't know, 15% of a level, something like that. It's really not too bad. You're gonna find that these fights feel a little bit bad, honestly, and a lot of that is because of this, where he's up this one level, and this is why I was talking about those XP invades, because even though you're down 15% of a level, you're barely down, because he's just 6 and you're not, like, you just lose a lot of damage, you know what I mean, and some health and stuff. And that's why, like, I was talking about how important those little XP camps are rather than just doing this, stupid little gold thing, because the 50 extra gold you have right now does nothing for you if it was even that, which it wasn't. But big picture here, I think you're going to find that this Geb is really going to excel in short trades and you're going to excel in longer. Now, you do have health pots and stuff. He doesn't. So you should kind of be okay, but I think just like trying to avoid giving him these spots where he can just like one you is generally hopeful. So like right there, he won. If you want to jump after now into him, it's fine. But if he gets the trade, but if not, just like try to avoid getting one. And quite frankly, that's just like not walking up to melee range with him. Because again, this is that Bluestone versus Conduit thing. You know what I mean? Where like he's actually getting some autos off on you. So here though, like he has no abilities. You could just jump on him and to him, honestly, if you really wanted to. You didn't end up choosing to, that's fine, but like it's definitely a choice. Because remember, he has no health pots. I really think a lot of this lane, again, it hasn't really been bad, but it's just more so like we can optimize what we have. So Athena's ganking, really important, and I think you just fucked this up a bit. You have to let her ult land first before you jump, because now you're just probably cooked, right? Unless you get the ults off here, which you do. So maybe you're fine. We'll see. The shell's good. Looks like we're maybe okay. Okay. Oh shit, you try to dive? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, look. I mean, I obviously like the best case scenario here. The stun was great. I think you panic on this jump really hard. Big thing is here again. Remember, like if you jump and then she ults, or if she lands and then you jump, you're just out. Cause she might dash to follow you and try to taunt. But if you can just ult that, she's dead like a trillion percent. You know what I mean? She's in front of the Geb at that point, like by a mile, and you just pull her into tower and you still have shell and all that stuff, so you're totally safe. Even if you can't like mechanically play all that, if you can just jump after she lands, that's not mechanics, that's just like timing a little bit and just being a bit more patient, you're going to be a lot better off. But even then, despite all that, you still live, so I'm not going to like kill you for it. I'm never going to try to like go into a coaching thing and be like, okay, mechanically you could have done this, that, and the third. I don't think that's too relevant because it's like no shit, right? Like, yeah, if I could have hit my stuff a little bit better, I would have. Like, you're not trying to. What I would just say with this is, from a decision making, we got to this point. I want to always try to focus on decision making over mechanics. I think that's more relevant. So when I was talking about the build stuff, that's what I was on. When I was talking about the you didn't shell the thing, but you could have just jumped away and avoided it. Again, it's just about decision making. So very similar, where you were in a spot where it was a guaranteed kill on the Geb, and you let it go, and you tried to go for it yourself and you died for it. This is one of those spots where they're sending two. It feels really bad as a jungler to commit so hard to a dive and a kill and not get anybody. So if this is a 0 for 0, you're really happy. Like really, really happy, and you should be. So letting this go, exactly, letting this go and saying, look, if it's a 0 for 0, I'm good. Take that every single time. Because the moment it's a 1 for 1, it's still good, but you have to be confident it's a 1 for 1. And I'm telling you right now, like, this isn't a confident 1 for 1. It's potential, but you're much happier with a 0 for 0 than a risk, especially when it's just going to be a 1 for nothing. Now you miss this whole wave. You're already down a little bit. Now you're down a full level. And all of a sudden, like, yeah, the gank is rough, but if this gank doesn't get anything, look at where your team's positioned. I don't know if they're going to go for Gold Fury here or something, but your Pele is getting a lot of time to free farm, or whoever. I think it's Pele mid. So the Loki's getting some time to free farm. I'm not saying they're going to utilize that the best or anything, but you guys are up 1600 already. So they're kind of like, I feel like reeling to get something going. You know what I mean? And the moment they start to get something going here, I think you do end up losing this game, right? Eventually, I like skip to the end. So those are the kind of little things that you look at where it's like right now and just the, you know, pace of this game. If I can just kind of survive, we're winning everywhere. You know what I mean? So let's just like not fuck it up, right? Like it can just be that simple sometimes. Let's just like chill out. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Totally. And look, even if you don't get like even if the game's kind of going bad there, I mean honestly, it's still just the point of like, hey, it's okay if we're down a little bit. We can like kind of come back from this. I think it's just the moment you start to, and I really try to stress this, especially in some of my recent like streams and stuff. Um, it's all good to get out of lane 0-0. Like it really is. Because the moment you start to try to go up 2-0, sometimes you're just down 0-2. And then everything's real bad, right? Because both of your deaths here, what have they been this game? Trying to get a kill, right? Or trying to like do an outplay. So if you just eliminate trying to outplay and you literally just try to play not worse, but literally just smarter. And this was like again a good secure, really solid, really good pickup. You're in a much better spot this game, just like straight up. Now, obviously, other people died and stuff, but now the game all of a sudden is like even, and it's like, well, shit. Now everything kind of is just a bit rough for sure. Again, the game spot is still fine though for your lane specifically. I think one thing I really want you to pay attention to in this lane specifically is so right here on this blue, he fights really hard, right? Super, super hard. And you get this, and this is awesome. Um, what I want you to do now is notice you pop all 3 health pots. Now that's fine because it like stacks, so you'll like get it, you know what I mean, afterwards. No problem with that. He has no health pots. Like he literally has nothing. Just keep fighting him. You notice the jungler's here. Even if you don't know the jungler's here, I don't think you're not fighting because you don't know where the jungler is. Just fight him. Like you are super, super like reserved. We've already talked about how much better Shell is than Sunder. Don't be afraid. Like despite the O2, whatever, whatever. Again, I'm not talking about don't fight in general and just play safe. I'm saying play safe when you're one shot, you know what I mean? And he's going on you. I'm saying play safe when you're getting ganked and it's a 2-on-1. But when you're in a spot where it's a 1-on-1 and you're like winning the trades, just like you were in the very early game, like this is a great spot to just go on him because how is he going to do anything back? Worst case scenario, you jump in, he ults. Okay, so what? That's good. You know what I mean? Like you're happy. You're not going to die. He rushed a damage item. You rushed a hybrid item with defense. Defense is going to outtrade damage. Like you're just better, right? So you just have to play aggro here. Hmm. And look, yeah, that's the worst case thing happening. You're good. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Mhm. I know, I understand. I mean, look, I think so. Here's kind of where the whole sequence happens, and he does end up popping Mirrodin here. So I get the point you're making. I would just say like it's hard to say. It's hard to, I guess, like explain it, but like you're just better here because even with Staff of Mirrodin, whatever, you have Prots. He doesn't have Pen. That's like a given, obviously, right? So you're stronger from that perspective. You also have power too, so it's not like you do nothing. And you still have Shell, which again, that is like your winning relic. I don't care that he's ult, that doesn't matter. In this spot, like right here, when he starts to walk, like if you just 2 him right now, instead of jump away and kind of wait and look for a jump, you 2 him now. You do it. You did it a little late, obviously, right? So this is already late, but even then, this is still fine. He ults, literally just like he dashed on you right there, right? Because he's the one. Literally just fight him, shell, and you kill him. Like I promise you. But a lot of the time here, we're just kind of running away. We're like kind of playing back, whatever the case might be. You're just kind of giving him time to get his cooldowns up and stuff and like look for these fights. Remember we talked about these shorter trades he's going to be happy with because he's kind of doing a little dashing and stuff. Like just fight him right here. This is so good. Like he can't do anything, I promise you. But we're waiting so long that all of a sudden he's just like in a happier spot. And then yeah, he's gonna look for the Mirrodin and stuff and all this. And you end up living this trade, at least for now. We'll see if you end up dying. But I think what I'm also noticing is you're using your shell almost exclusively when you're low. I think a really good habit force that you're gonna see like help you a lot, and I think you do trade here, so that's at least okay. Use your shells when you're healthy, or at least like middle health, and you're just trading. Because the point is that they're doing less auto attack damage, but more importantly, every single one of these shells, not that there hasn't been many, but like what we're noticing here with them is we're shelling and look how most of the shell, if not all of it, is just going away on its own rather than going away because he's doing damage into it, right? So if we're shelling when we go in here, the damage that he does all gets absorbed by the shell, and then you're still like up 200 health as to where you are right now. And are you scared here if you have 800 health? No, you're not, right? Because he's not, if he dashes in like this, he's just an idiot. So keeping that in mind and noticing that he's using Sunder not as a finisher, but just as a like relic just to get a health advantage should be the exact same way you should use shell. Because again, if you're both using your relics as a health advantage type of thing, your relic is just straight up better because it just does more. So you still trade with him. It's not the worst. It's only just kind of bad because obviously you lose some of a wave. So using that shell again, like a little bit more in the lane to fight rather than at the end is going to do you a lot. Yeah, exactly. And again, like remember, dude, it's a 100, I think 20-second cooldown. So if you're using that consistently, I mean, you're going to get it up consistently. It's not like this is like a combat blink or something that's going to take you an hour to get back. So you don't have to worry about it too much. I like here that you're looking for the fight. That's unfortunately just a bit of a brick, but yeah, but the fact that he doesn't have health pots and like you're looking to punish, I think is generally a pretty good idea. Um, it's just not really coming together all the way here. Build wise, if you want to rush Voidstone again, I think that's totally fine. You could rush a damage item as well to counter the Geb, but I wouldn't recommend that too much. I'm assuming you're going into Onis here. I think that's solid. The only thing that's a little bit rough with these defense items, a lot of the magic items kind of suck, to be honest. And right here, from a build perspective, we have a tier 2 that is magical prots and health, and a tier 2 that's mana. And mana is really bad, to be honest. So I'm kind of like never a huge fan of telling people to go them in the laning phase when they're struggling a bit and they're a little bit behind. I think going Onis here is okay. If you want to go something else and you're like, oh, I didn't really like this because right now I feel pretty weak, I think going straight into a shield splitter or Protean here is probably just going to be better because the bridge items to get to the tier 3 feels a lot better. And that's like nice to have. Again, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Just an option. Uh, going back though to this, I mean, look, despite it all, I think you're 1-3. You just scoreboard flash. We can check to see how it's going. Um, And it is, yeah, which is fine. But look, I mean, you're even in gold. So look, we've talked. I don't know how long I've been recording for, but however long about all these things you should fix and do better, and you're even. I think that's pretty telling and pretty important to remember that in a lot of these things, it's going to be a lot of like hammering down on these little things. But the floor is if you continue to like make the mistakes you're making, you're going to be even in the games you're in. That's a pretty good trade off. I mean, I think you're probably pretty happy being in that spot. So, literally, all this stuff is just about can we get more ahead? That's it, right? And I think that's kind of what we expected into a Gab. You know, you can have a couple of deaths, but it doesn't really matter that much. So, yeah, he's going to probably try to play a bit big, I guess. He's got a bit of cooldown, and he's going into, I think, Genji's first, so, or second, so he's got even more cooldown now. This is kind of the rough part about Cerb, to be honest. His cooldowns are pretty long, and I feel like that does suck a bit. That's why, you know, rushing Onis after Voidstone, you're going to non-cooldown items. Again, I don't think it's terrible, but it does feel a little awkward, so you know, if you do end up wanting to try Proton or something second, that's kind of your advantage, where at least you're getting some. If not, you know, you just got to kind of deal with the long cooldown parts of this, but should be all right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. And this was really good. Yeah. No, and that totally makes sense. I still think Onis is fine. You know, I'm just like mentioning it because I think right now, like having this mana thing feels terrible. It's not your fault. It's just the game, but it does feel bad. Either way, though, I mean, look, that trade there was really good. If you're afraid here and you're like not trying to fight, I think you should just jump to your blue right away. Uh, this is telling me you really don't want to be here. I think you just jump to your blue. You know, we'll see what happens here. You're gonna get Athena ulted. I'm assuming you're dead. Yeah, definitely right. Oh, good stun. Yeah, you're dead. That's all right. I mean, yeah, it kind of was a bit doomed. I think best like case scenario here. Look, there's a lot that sucks about this. Athena jungle with aspects not super good or common. I'm not going to kill you for it. Also, your Poss is at 20% health in their tower. He didn't get ulted. He should be the one getting ulted. He's ahead of you. It's a little shit. What I would just say, though, is like very clearly from a posturing sense, you really, really don't want to be here. You don't have to. Just go to your blue. It's all good. If he freezes, he's still low and needs to back. You can get your blue, and if you want to play really disciplined, you can just back right after get your item. You're gonna lose some health or lose some gold, excuse me, and XP. But the point is you're staying safe. And again, we've already like kind of established when you're weak, it's better to just be safe. So I think the best player is to just your blue back, come back, and it's all good if you lose like this wave. Fine. If he freezes, which I'm gonna tell you right now, he's not going to. Uh, but even if he did, that's like the worst case scenario. The problem here with like doing this is I can tell you don't want to do this, and because you don't want to do this, you're going to die anyways, and then you're going to lose all that stuff anyways plus die, right? So just another one of those situations of like I think intuitively you know this feels horrible, so just let it go. A lot of the time, dude, even with that first death, it was like okay, intuitively we can tell this is not a good feeling situation. Just don't put yourself in it. Or if you are in it, just leave. Like it's not that big of a deal. I promise you this wave because I think you have enough gold for your item anyways, right? So if you think about that as well, it's like try to back on the tier 2s of your items or the tier 3s or just on something if you can. Obviously that's not always going to be the case, but like we have enough for Onis. I think it's 1150. I might be wrong. It is. So in this spot, we're good. Like we're all set. We've done what we needed to do. Let's just leave. Because realistically, if you do get this wave, what are you getting out of it? Nothing, right? So, I mean, you're getting farm, but like, what are you getting out of it for this next back? Nothing. So, you don't need it that bad. If you were waiting for Onis here, it would be a really bad call, but I still understand it kind of, right? In this spot though, like we genuinely, like we have our gold. I would try to make it a habit to when you come out of base, look how much gold you need for the next thing you want and try to like keep that in mind because if I think if you realize that you had enough Veronis and that was like something you were disciplined about, you wouldn't stay here. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it would definitely at least like it kind of forces you to be a little bit smarter just on living. So unfortunately we die here. Game state wise, it's still okay. We're down a little bit, but it is playable. I think now we're gonna start to see you're a little bit behind. Yeah, down like 600 now. So before the deaths didn't really matter, but this one's a little bit worse for wear, and it's still not like doomed or anything, but it's a little bit rough. I wouldn't worry too much about these. I mean, they're fine to do. I just kind of really want you to start getting these backs and stuff because they really haven't been happening this game. Now, granted, Geb hasn't been either, so it's not as big of a deal. But yeah, it's just a bit rough. I like this. I think we mentioned earlier looking for trades kind of like that after he combos. The sun was again a bit off, but the idea was fine there, and this should be a kill. That was a good ult. The two should be good. Perfect. There we go. All right. I think literally with that, you should be even again. I mean, you're down a little bit, but by the time he respawns, you should be even. Let's see what we do here. Because this is the big moment of truth, right? You know, can we catch up a little bit? So wave clears, that's the move. We play up, we do. Good. We're gonna get both of these. We get this, that's cool. So here is, I guess, just like one thing that I don't think is like a huge deal, but it's good to know, I guess. Your team is playing really, really, really far up. Now, that's not your problem. That's their choice. But Geb's there. If you ever see after a death, or just in general, the soul laner rotate to something like this, you have a couple of choices. Obviously, match the rotation or don't is like the crux of it. This isn't your job to match. They're just fighting in a bad spot, and they're probably going to die for it. Like, we know this is a terrible fight. It's just stupid. What I would say, though, is that when you see the guy committed to a rotation, your priority shifts a lot to just pushing waves in above all and then doing camps. So in this spot, I would actually really, especially since this is like a big drag, just jump to lane, shove this wave, and go back to doing this afterwards if you want to do it. Only because like we want this shoved as fast as possible. That's all. It's a micro thing, but like literally the moment I think he first gets spotted right there, it's hard to tell, but I think he got spotted there, maybe not. If not, right here, that's Geb. No, it's Athena. When do we see him? Right there, we see Geb. I get it, it's a little quick, but like the moment you see this Geb, and you should be looking, you just want to shove right away. So you don't even commit this ability, just shove this, come back. Because the point is we want this wave to get shoved in as much as we can, because if he's going to rotate, we want him to lose as much as possible, and shoving that in is the best way to do that. So doing this is still fine, but I just want you to do it the other way around. That's all. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Now we were shoving, and this is good, right? This is like the right decision to make. Again, it really sucks that this is a four for nothing. I think this is just one of those moments that you have to, or it's not a four for nothing, but it's four kind of unnecessary deaths. I think this is just one of those moments that, like, as a player, you have to kind of not get rattled. You're gonna have a lot of people who BM you in a spot like that. It's not your fault. You just kind of have to. Not that that happened, but like this is the right call. So I'm glad you're doing it. The only thing that's a little bit dodgy to me is you are a little bit low. I don't love this. I think you have to stay and shove this wave again. We have to think about it like they just got 4 kills. They got so much. We didn't rotate. Again, not your fault. But because we didn't, we have to take the biggest, like we have to squeeze all the water out of the stone in this spot. We shove one more time and then we reset. There's no reason not to get this wave. No one's coming. And even if they are, like they're mid here, they might be going to Pyro. Even if they are heading over, like you have time to clear this, jump away. You should never like back, unless you know you're getting like 4 man on or some bullshit, which you're not. You have to get this and like then leave, because this is just like a really big miss, I think. Because you're gonna notice like you never come back to this wave. Not that like you had to, but you're losing gold anyways, right? So the whole reason you're backing early, so to speak, is to rotate to something that you're not even going to get to. And this is, you mentioned to me in the beginning of this, you feel like you do the laning phase generally okay. This game maybe had a couple hiccups, but yeah, but the team fights is where it really kind of feels a bit confusing and struggling. I would say a lot of it just like in not knowing ahead of time. But a lot of it comes to, okay, well, we prematured backs, we didn't get a wave, right? And now, because we backed and we lost a wave, and then we see the objective get lost because we rotated thinking we could get there when we realistically couldn't have, now we're just kind of here. And when you get over here this far, I think every player feels this urge to say, hey, I am here, I may as well do something. And just like in the laning phase, when you were like 40% health and you were staying up and it felt really bad, this should go kind of intuitively as like an alarm flare for this feels really bad. Now you might get something out of it, but like big picture, gold is gone. Look where you guys are. This is a really big force. And I'm saying that to say this rotation is terrible because there's nothing to go to. When you're rotating, your idea should be, okay, very clearly, I have like a flank on somebody I'm going to get. So I might TP from this teleporter to this one and kill the ADC who I see, in front of his tower. Or there's like a mid with no beads. I know I can kill him. I'm going to go straight to him. Or there's an objective up and I know I'm going to go there, right? The problem I have with this whole like sequence is we're walking towards this lane. We change course, right? Gold is down. So the entire play call is completely gone. There's nothing. Do we see anybody on the map? Yes or no? No. Is there any objective over here to do? Yes or no? No. Okay. So now, by logic, right, we can determine this rotation, the only point of it is just I'm already here. I just have to do something, right? And when you're starting off a fight or an engage saying I'm already here, I just have to do something, I promise you it's garbage. Promise. This whole thing, and again, remember, we stopped, we got out of base at 1430. We could have just TP'd over here. Let's just look at how much time we waste. And you're going to see why a lot of the reason your fights and stuff feel bad is because the farming is just not happening for a very, very long time. And this is not like a you thing. This happens to literally every solo I ever have coached. They always do this. This is like the number one thing. It's just a long spree of just like nothing going on because we're looking for a rotation that's long dead. And again, you can intuitively know the moment that gold is gone, there's nothing. So now we're going to creep around. Mind you, 35 seconds and ticking here. How much XP have we gotten in 35 seconds? 0. Yep, nothing. So now we're at 45. This guy's walking up like a bot. I don't know why. Maybe you'll get something on him. Nope. We got a stun. That's nice. Again, he's turning around. This is a really stupid play. He shouldn't. You can make the argument that you being here is helping to get a tier 1 tower for a little bit of like space. But I'm going to tell you conversely back that that's just not worth 45 seconds. Now 55. Now we're bordering on a minute. Yeah. Yeah. It's garbage. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. But you know what? I think that's a big part of like getting that rhythm. So you're mentioning it feels disjointed. Believe me, I can tell this looks horrible. It feels bad. It feels garbage, right? But a lot of it is like I think you should always try to have mentally this reset key of, hey, I'm doing nothing for 30 seconds. I'm doing nothing for 20 seconds. Wait, what am I actually looking to do here? And when you have that reset key or you have that like intuitive thing, you just go back to your lane and do your thing. Like that's literally, it's as simple as it needs to be. A lot of the times if I'm in a messy game, you just have to say, hey, I just have to go back to whatever I'm doing. Because the worst case scenario is you do this garbage rotation for like 3 hours and then you die. And Stewie, I don't know if he's here, he always freaking does this. He'll have some awful rotation, he'll die, and then he says, and this is the classic tilted ranked player thing, I'm just gonna farm, right? You've heard that a million times. Everybody says that. But think about it, why do they say that? Because they die. Almost always, you don't need to die to get to that point. You can have this rotation up at this point, even here. This is still salvageable. Just turn around. Just go this way. Right. We're good. That's simple. That's literally it. But because we don't, now we are just on this like jamboree of just ass for like a minute straight. This Herc here, we don't know what he's doing, but again, this is not your job. Like, don't worry about him. If he's inting, he's inting. You can't make it your job to get this because this Geb, this whole time, he's built some damage, and this is why people will lament that mage solos are broken because, not that he's a mage, but he's building like a mage, because he's just playing to push. He's literally just split pushing and farming, which if you build damage, you're going to do better. Mage solos aren't OP. It's just that they punish like random rotations like this a lot harder. Um, we're sitting around. It's now been a minute and 15. We're still doing nothing. It's now been a minute and 20. We're still doing nothing. We might get a trade here, but at this point, is it worth it? No, right? We're now at a minute and 30. Yeah, it's really bad, right? And yeah. Yeah, and look, now you guys end up killing this Athena. And look, this is the thing about people being boosted, etc., and all this stuff. Remember, Diamond Lobby, like, what is this guy doing? Why is he walking up in a spot, regardless of if the Cerb rotation is terrible and super forced or not? I mean, he's just walking up and inting for literally no reason. He just didn't have to. So as the Athena there, you just don't walk up. I don't know. That's simple, right? Super easy. But for whatever reason, he does. So you kind of get bailed out. And when I say bailed out, I mean you ended up getting an assist out of a minute and 45 seconds. So even with a really bad rotation, the compensation prize was an assist. Are we going to rotate 2 minutes straight? Oh, we're still here. Are we going to rotate? Now we're 2 minutes deep. We've gotten half a level. It's 16 and a half minutes. Now it's a 1-for-1, right? So this rotation isn't that good. Again, they're fighting again, so we finally do get a kill out of it. Well, now all of a sudden it seems a little bit better. We even get a second kill out of it. So now it's 3 for, what was it, 1 overall? And it looks kind of okay because it's like, well, the entire premise of this, quite frankly, is none of these kills need to happen, right? This is completely them misplaying. Now, obviously, some element of Smite is like, of course, they're capitalizing on people's misplays. But I feel like it's a really big problem if they have to be like objectively morons for us to get a okay trade. And even then, dude, the kills here, I know it looks good for the stat line, but effectively what this is out of 2.5 minutes, we got 1 level and a quarter. That's not a good look. Like, it really isn't, right? And again, I want to be very clear. Like, this only happens because these guys are absolute idiots. Can you can you count on that in ranked? Honestly, kind of, but yeah, but like as you climb, hopefully less, that's gonna happen less. And even then, like from a map perspective, not only did you not farm much, but even with the kill and the 2 assists that realistically maybe you could have got should have gotten one of the three, not all three, we're losing a tier 1 on right. This Geb's free farm the entire time, and your tier 2 is almost dead. They get a pyro, this tier 2's basically dead, if not dead, right? So, like, our map state just got a lot worse. We got some kills and stuff, which is nice, but none of this needed to happen, is the point. And now we're 2.5 minutes. And again, like, we're 17 minutes in. We haven't gotten a wave in, like, a solo wave since 1420. It's almost been 3 minutes since we've gotten a solo wave. You're starting to get to a really, really problematic point, and we're finally going to hit it almost 3 minutes after we backed. So that's where, from a rotational perspective, like your game is going to fall apart, and why I would bet. And again, we'll still see because there's a lot of games to go, but a lot of these games kind of just waver is going to be in these spots where we just have prolonged nothing going on and we're trying to like continuously justify it rather than just move on. I don't really care if you make a bad rotation. I just want you to be quick on it. That's all. So if you make a bad one, fine, but just leave. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. For sure, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, I understand. I mean, I think also like, see, this is a bit weird because it's kind of hard to tell like what's going on sometimes across the map, but it looks like kind of what happens is you spend like 3 hours rotating, and then you finally are like, wait a minute, I need to like go back to playing the game normally. And now the Geb who's been farming the whole time gets to rotate for free. I don't know if you being there changes the entire like outcome of that fight, but I do know that if the entire time we're just staying right and then we TP topside and then we fight on this Gold Fury or we fight like on mid, but we've been farming this whole time and we're like solid, it's going to go a lot better. So no matter what, it's just about kind of priming yourself to be in a good position. And yeah, obviously this tilt chase, not a great look. I think right here you just have to take the ult. We do. He gets shelled again. Oh dear. Yeah, this is just not a good time. No matter what. Yeah, you don't kill him. I see. Yeah, so it's just a horror. It's all good. I mean, that happens sometimes, man. But, I think hopefully, like, just avoiding this from happening in the first place is ideal. Now, obviously, like, even, obviously that was rough. But, trying to avoid getting to that point ahead from before is ideal. Obviously the death is no good though, and this game state is quite bad. I'm assuming they're gonna get fire now. They don't. So your death's actually not the end of the world. I mean, it's kind of it's not good. It feels horrible, but I think you're still kind of fine. How behind are you? You're down 300 gold. I mean, this game is like, yeah, definitely all over the place. I think this is like a golden opportunity to double down on like, hey, we just kind of farm a little bit and we'll be okay. Again, notice what just happened. Gold Fury down. So, we're rotating again. Remember, we just realized we're down 300 gold, despite how awful this game has felt. And now we're looking for a rotation. Are we sure there's something good here? Or is this just a repeat? Let's look at the time we were in lane, or we were walking towards lane 1955, right? So now we are at 2030. Again, do we think that it's a little bit crazy that they're fighting this? Potentially, but maybe this is playable. I mean, we are deep. We got a kill. This looks kind of okay. I mean, it turns out that it's fine. Again, I guess it's hard because it's like when a fight like this works, it's kind of like, what do I really say? But it's just not supposed to work, man. It's just not supposed to work. Like this hurt gets like the Hail Mary pluck, and then this guy just bots it up and dies. I guess it's okay, so I can't really say much. What I would just say is like, man, your rhythm is terrible this game, and I think you know that, right? You've mentioned it multiple times. When it feels bad, like let's just like slow it down a little bit and go back to reliable. This whole fight posturing is just ass. I mean, we're gonna get some kills out of it, so I mean, I guess like it's fine. I guess I don't know. Yeah, it's yeah. Hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. It's looking like one of those. And I mean, look, that's just gonna happen sometimes. I will say though, like the thing is, if you really want to say like, hey, I really want to just be at the gold, I really am not mad at that. By the way, I'm okay with it because gold right now is up. If you go to it right now, I'm super cool with everything you just said. But you got to go to it right away. So again, this is what I mean about the decision making thing. If you make a decision, I don't care. Just be quick with it. So if your mindset is I'm going this way because I want to go farm, cool. If it's wrong, let's die on that hill. No problem, right? But if you're going to say I want to rotate off the rip, and let's say you come straight out of lane 2 gold, and then you die and you say, dude, I don't know what happened. I fucked this up. Was this a bad idea? Okay, fine, we'll live with it and we'll figure it out, right? What's really bad is when you start to try to like zigzag in between doing both, and we walk out this way, and then now we're rotating, and now gold's down, and it's like now we're committing to this, and we're just like, oh man, you know, because to be fair, if you run straight to gold, you're gonna still lose it, but you're so close, you're probably already like here. So now, like, okay, we're just chasing them out of gold. That's a natural play. I'm not saying it's a great play, but it's at least natural. None of this is natural. This is like very out of the way. I mean, we're going through like a jungle jamboree to get to this place, and it's just like a lot of just unnecessariness. And I'm to your credit. I mean, I think this ult here is good. The Pele gets a good engage. At least we like kind of turn this, and it ends up being fine. But I really think a lot of this, and again, like I want to be very clear, these are ranked games, and no ranked game is going to be perfectly played or anything like that. But a lot of this is just like, okay, we're taking advantage of them being really stupid. And like that's what Smite is. You take advantage of people making mistakes. Absolutely. What I would say though is if we can synchronize the fact that they're going to be stupid regardless, that's not like these guys are going to be dumb no matter what you do. If we're farming well and then we're rotating at good times for us with purpose and they're being stupid, that's how you're going to climb from, Diamond to Obsidian 3 to 2 to 1 to Masters and so on and so forth. It's just about putting yourself in a good rhythm because the moment you're seeing yourself play at, and we're agreeing that what we're seeing is really dumb, well, you're playing at their pace, right? So unfortunately, whether or not you're smarter, you're not letting yourself show it. Now, look, I mean, I thought these picks were great. For you to chase at this point, I don't think is terrible because you're completely safe. For the rest of these guys to chase is pretty terrible. So, like, I don't love this, but I also don't think it's entirely your fault. The shell here is good. Yeah, unfortunately, like, he's just dead. Loki goes in again. That's not your fault. I wouldn't worry about it. I think this chase is a little unnecessary, and I think in a perfect world, we take these kills and we're very happy with it, and we just reset, go to pyro, reset, go to fire. I think that's what like absolutely like without a doubt we should be doing. So if you're gonna like look at shot calling, what I would just say is, okay, we have a pick advantage in terms of kills. Let's dial it back and go to an objective. The moment you start chasing, especially tanks, it's probably a bad look. Even then, you're not dying for this chase ever, so I don't really care that much. It's not great, but I don't care that much. It's more so the Pele committing after and then dying, and then the Loki doubling down and dying too, where this gets really bad. That's not really in your control. I would just say try to mind that, we're 21 minutes in, it's 29 to 25, 3 objectives have been done, and it's even. That's not hallmarks of a good look. So if you want to change that, again, we try to get in a rhythm, farm, get objective, stuff like that. You'll probably win a lot more often. So yeah, tough stuff. This guy ends, he pops Sunder, he dies, doesn't really matter. And what was the time when we stopped? Again, you got some stuff out of it, so I'm not going to kill you for it, but it's 1950. I think here, bro, you just got to back. Like right here, a Herc, I think, made a good choice. I think you, like, staying around to do these little harpies and stuff, just not really worth it. Your clear speed sucks. That's just like being a guardian. And this, I think, is just a continuation of that, because you're running mid to split a wave with 3 people, with 2 people. If we just reset, if the play is to go to pyro, fine, but let's just reset right like when this burn ends, like right here with this Herc. We reset right now. We can run right, get this wave, go to pyro. You know what I mean? So you're doing the same thing, but you're also going to be full health, have an item, Pridwin here, and you're going to have a whole nother wave, and you'll probably be 17. So now instead, we do this worthless camp. Well, it's not worthless, but you know what I mean? It's not great. And then we're going to come mid. And it's just kind of like, I mean, you'll probably get this, which is great. But I also like wonder, I mean, do you even need to be here? Maybe. Okay, he's actually going to be nice. He's going to give it to you. But you're clearing a wave that they would have cleared, which is fine, I guess. But, this is over here. That's not great. Yeah, I mean, you really didn't even need to be here, to be honest. You guys get it. I guess it's nice that you were there. I think we're out, so that's good. Man, Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Yep. It looks like he's out. Uh-oh. Oh, is he not out? Oh dear. Okay. Uh-huh. Oh yeah, this looks like ass. Yeah. So I mean, I think from what this looks like is so this was solid. It looks like Herc wraps around. I don't know why. Yeah. I cannot tell you. I mean, okay. All right. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure there's much here. So, I'm not shocked this goes bad. I don't really think there's too much for you to do. The 2 here is solid. Now, the jump in here is doable, honestly. I know we just talked about how fucked this is. Okay, you're going to go in. That's good. Let's see. Let's see how this goes. I don't want to say too much yet. Okay, we're chasing. Doesn't go well. We're tunnel visioning again. It doesn't work. And yeah, the one didn't go off, which sucks. But I think this is sort of shades of the Sobek moment earlier. Now, what I would say with this is like, this is where relic placement is like super important and timing. Realistically, your job most of the time is going to be to go in the back line. There's sometimes moments that changes. I don't think this is one of those. I would say moments like that change when the backline is really grouped together and they're very safe. I think the fact that you're twoing him in your backline is proof that those are not the cases, right? So that's great. Like this is like as fucked up as this whole fight is. This is really not that bad. What I want to see you do here is just go on this guy and pop Nemia in this Agni because this is the mid lane or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like just follow him in Nemian because the problem here is like I think this is still okay, mind you. And this ult here is good. And I think you even do a pretty decent job here in terms of like getting some damage off. Number one, I probably wouldn't have ulted the direction you did because what you're going to notice here is your Pele's here. You want to ult to your damage, which I know the comp is a bit scuffed, but when we're ulting them towards the help, that's not great. So ult them to the left here always, but also you're popping your Nemean, which is again the reflect to their damage when they're not able to do damage, right? So like we're popping thorns when they can't hit us. That's not great. Really want a number one ult left here, but let's save our Nemean. Let's ult them left and then just jump on the Agni Nemean him and let them clean up. That's the best play here, really, right? But even if you're not going to ult them to the right or to the left, just wait to use your Nemean until you can actually start taking damage. Because if you had it here, right, like all of a sudden now we're actually getting hit. Let's look at how much damage you took while having pop Nemean. You're at 2285. Nemean ends and you are at 1947. I think it ended on that frame. Right, it's like a frame below 1947, let's say. So that was 300 damage of Nemean thing, and how much you end up taking after 1947, right? So if we have the Nemean for the thing, we're good. We just have to make sure we pop it for the abilities. I guess it's sort of like, it's kind of like the shell situation where I feel like some of these procs are not really being used for the damage. They're almost used as like a either in the middle or at the end, and you just have to like remember to use it when the damage is coming. And again, the only change there is you can either use it right before the bombs start raining or like literally when they're not CC immune. Because right there they're just CC immune, so there's just they're not CC immune, they're just like a CC'd, so they're not actually gonna be hitting you in Agnes on cooldowns. So we'll see what we build next here. Looks like we're going yeah, maybe. Oh, and Sal, okay. Yeah, that's cool. That makes sense. Um, mhm. Yeah. Oh, it's all good. Yeah, no problem, no problem. It happens. So fire is the play. See what happens here. Almost. Oh, did get stolen. Lokia Sunder, huh? All right, this was a little wonky. I think the only thing that I would like really advise here, playing to steal when you don't have Sunder is like not super realistic. I really want you to just like get big here and just jump on their back and prevent thorns. That's like really the whole play. Because again, it's all about just disruption and playing with that. I know as a tank, people are like really in this mind that they're just bad right now. if you jump on them and you pop your stuff and then two, you're just stopping their DPS. So if you want to steal it, that's how you steal it, right? You keep them from being able to do damage and you let your team come in, you collapse on them. This pull is very forced. I don't think this is actually a great pull, but it has to be that you go on them because again, right now, are we playing as a soul laner normally does? Not really, right? We're kind of like positioning almost like a, I don't want to say a mage because if you're a mage, you're not in the pit, but we're not like, we're not positioning to play to dive. We're positioning to like trade and try to steal this. But the problem is like these guys are right here. You know what I mean? Like even if you lose this, man, if we're just on them, which I want to be very clear, like you guys get this because Loki has Sunder, that's a weird pickup, and thankfully here it works. But if we're just on them, the damage stops, and you guys like worst comes to worst, you lose this, they're all dead. Who cares? You know what I mean? The problem here is if they get it right here, you're getting plucked away, and you could still fight, but I don't know, man. I'm not so convinced it's gonna go that great. Now they're still walking forward, so maybe it goes great either way. But I just don't know. Again, even here, like we just have to go in. I think you're being a little too passive. Now look, they end up getting a good cleanup, but we really just have to make an effort to chase. That's a good catch. We're following now. I really want you to just play like heavy kind of frontline from the get-go rather than like playing for the steal. Obviously, if you have Sunder and stuff, my mind changes a little bit, but even then, I want you to get on this back line and then peel back to Sunder the objective or peel back to steal. Because again, if we jump in, we Thorns Perlin, we're stopping their DPS, so you don't have to worry about flipping it because it just won't get done and they're just going to die. Not because you're going to kill them necessarily, but you're going to like, they can't damage it and they can't damage you that much because they're Nemean. So it's just a really bad look, assuming we pop it at the right time. But even then, it's a 4 for 1, 5 for 1. That looks pretty great. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we get mid. We're going to get mid Phoenix. We're going to maybe... Okay, let's see what happens. This is a bit weird. So we got mid. I think right here, this is like a really good learning experience when you're sieging, especially when people are dead like this and your waves are shoved. You being here is a little bit redundant, or somebody. It doesn't have to be you, but because we're talking about you, we may as well. I really want you to just go left and shove this wave, because what you're going to notice happens here, and this is why, like, this, from this play point forward, this is just Twitch moment. This game should kind of be over, because it looks like, man, we just kind of broke open the map, everything is great. We don't need to send the whole team here for this, because, like, how much are you hitting this for? 31, 34, 43, 34. Yeah, not great, right? Not a lot. What happens here is, again, now how much are we also hitting after this kill? Because that's fine, you want to be there, fine. 20, 25, 20, 20, 25. If we go left here and we shove this wave in, what's going to happen? We're going to clear mid, because again, you're not doing much to it, so you may as well go get the wave. And then we're going to go left and probably get left as well, or at least we're going to try. The big problem here, what happens, is we get mid pretty quickly, but notice how this left wave's not pushed. And you guys are going to make a split call here. Notice pos pings, and you guys are leaving. Why are you guys leaving? Because people are spawning partially, but more importantly, because the wave's not shoved. If it's a 4v2, which it would have been, 4v2, right? Now, I know Subic spawning, but it's 4v2 and the wave's already in the Phoenix. Do you guys get left? Yes or no? Yes, you do. 100%. But we don't, so Pos commits to the push, pinging it, and none of you guys follow him. And all of a sudden, what was a really good free Phoenix ends up being nothing. So he has to turn around. Now you guys say, okay, well, we can't get left. Let's go to gold. What's the problem here? Well, it's a little bit slow. Extremely slow, actually, because they're going to double down and play the corner. Are they going to come back? I don't know. The issue is, number one, they should be helping, so I hope they do. And you guys do get gold, so it's okay. So I guess it's not that bad, but the whole thing is just you can get left if you just go to it right away. Just in this spot, when your damage is bad on objectives, just go push the wave, and then you're going to like usher that wave in, and then the pos is going to come with you, and you guys insta-get it, and then you leave. And then you can do gold if you want. Doesn't really matter. If you don't want to, you know, fine, don't do it. But we're getting the map opened up, and I think from 2 Phoenixes down with the fire, something really horrible would have to happen for you to lose this game. Um, yeah, no, I believe you, but man, I mean, I think something still horrible has to happen to lose this game at this point, but at least like it's a little bit better of it odds to win. So this gold call, although it's like a little bit weird because of the posturing is weird, quite frankly, I don't know why these guys are fighting. This is just stupid. You guys are making the right decision. This is just like a shitty call. It's just stupid. So yeah, no, you're yeah. I seriously like yeah. Don't. If you went there, could it have helped? Probably. Should they ever be fighting here? No. Like literally never. There is never. I'm never gonna sit here and say, "Wow, you should have been there." No. Nope. This Loki's an idiot. That's just that simple. So is the Herc. It's fine. And the Pus got baited because he did what you would have done. Said, wow, I'm going to go try to help them. Because look where the Pus was. With you, right? And he was doing helper syndrome, which again, don't help idiots. Just let them die. And now they're all dead. And you guys might trade out here or something. But that doesn't matter. Because the point here is like, we have fire on 5 people. 4 people. Why are we trading out? You know what I mean? Like that's just stupid. There's no point. It looks like it kind of went okay. I mean, I couldn't really tell. It looks fine. Do we get left Phoenix here? Oh, well, let's see. Maybe. If we get left Phoenix, I guess it's fine. But again, we didn't need to die to get left Phoenix. We could have just all reset together, ran left. Again, this is not on you. I'm just saying, like, these guys are dumb. Whatever. So we're here. We're kind of looking a bit. This is a good look from you. Unfortunately, you don't kill him. Don't jump after him. I think you should just jump away at this point. Yeah, I really would just like, not that it's a huge problem, but when you realize that this is like kind of done, just leave. Like this little meandering around, I think is a bit rough. Just turn around and jump over this wall over here, like go to the right and jump, just so you don't get like plucked after. But it's still okay. I mean, you're fine. You at least like make the decision to leave. Herc is in some trouble. I think peeling him out a little bit here is okay, but again, it's not worth dying for him. If you guys can get a return kill, great. Looks like you won't be able to. It sucks, but it's fine. Now is time where we have to really start looking about leaving. I think really important here, you might live, but instructional moment, like when they can't chase you over walls super well, go to the left here and just jump out this way. Where my cursor is, go up here, jump out this way. Because when we're running down the lane and they have chase, like we're putting ourselves in a problematic spot. You might just live, but you know, that's a good habit to have, to just like split up from your team rather than, you know, run down a spot where they can follow you. I think you're fine, but point still stands. Okay, so let's see what happens. So Loki gets a pick. Hurt goes back in. So why does Hurt go back in? Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. So Pele, I guess, just got caught. It seemed like she was kind of like looking a little bit, not like fully running out. I don't know. But Hurt goes in. He's dead, but Loki got a pick. So we're going again. Now, again, if Pos follows, is this maybe an okay call? Maybe. Should Pos follow? No, right? So it's like we're getting a very split decision. It seems like this Pos, and I've seen this guy before. He's like not bad. I feel like he has like a pretty decent pulse of like what to do in this spot. I think probably following his call generally would be the right decision in this game. He's making the right call, not like fighting for no reason. Now, your engage here, despite that, is like pretty good. Now, is it from a like, you know, decision making standpoint a good idea to fight? Probably not. This is still a good look. We got a beads here. We got a not a shell, but the support passive. If we run right now, I think it's fine, and maybe you get out. We'll see. Yeah, it's just rough to justify because of like the numbers. I think you're gonna get plucked here and die. Maybe not. Yep. So only thing here, I guess, really to like look at. Obviously, like probably not the best decision. If you are gonna go in, only thing I would say is just like, I guess you kind of have to jump, right? Yeah, just don't jump in. I mean, yeah, it's all good. If you have to jump in for an engage, it's not necessarily bad, but like you probably have to understand you're gonna die for it. Now, sometimes dying for it is like the move. Like sometimes that's a good thing. This wasn't one of those times. I guess I would just say like the only thing, maybe if you're in this spot and you're already committed, run to the right here and try to jump over this wall so Soba can't insta-pluck you after. Because again, it's a very similar thing where just like a line of sight, he's going to be happy with that. Either way, though, just a pretty tough situation. Just again, really spurred by there were bad fights going on, and I think you're putting it on yourself to follow through a little bit too much when, yeah, you just got to let it go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, definitely. And no, I mean, I understand. So here we get a bit of a weird call. I don't think this is horrible. So what's happening right now is a couple of things, and not all of it's good. So Loki's already poked. That's a problem. Loki needs to back right now. He doesn't do that. And I think that's what actually spurs this to be horrible. This doesn't look terrible. So what's happening is these guys want to get this, and what I'm presuming is that even if we lose Fire Giant here, the point is that we have three people in a triangle, right? These you three should be able to either stall this fire, A, B, keep them from doing it, or C, if they do it, you guys will get a kill or two, right? And the point is that if we can trade gold for fire and you guys kill one or two, we're going to open up this map and get these two phoenixes. And even though we lose the fire, it's not a big deal. That's the point. Okay? That's why they're going here. So objectively, that's not a bad idea. The problem is it's putting a lot of stress on you three to not fuck this up really, really bad. Because they don't have a difficult call at all. This isn't hard to do, but the problem is Loki's one shot for some reason. I could not tell you why. Literally could not. He is one shot. Okay, so yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. You're right. So he's just a bot. I mean, just outright. He's just a bot. This Loki's horrible. I don't know what to say. I mean, there's nothing to say with that. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, now it's a 2v5, 2v4 because that guy just got pinged up there. So it's bad. It's a little bit playable, but it's not good. I like that you're going in here. Only thing, remember, in this game, now I know it's a bit awkward on controller, you can pop active items while using abilities. So, what does that mean? That means as we start to go in here, we probably want to Nemean as we're 2ing, realistically. We're literally get in front of him and Nemean while 2ing. Like, yeah, we're getting autoed. We want to just Nemean. Because by the time you pop it, I know you got silenced. That makes it a little bit problematic. Yeah, we still haven't popped it. Still haven't popped it. Still haven't popped it. I think you just have to like double down on like we're going all in, right? Because we're going all in anyways. Like, bro, honestly, just Nemean Perdwin ult here. Like, just don't even bother jumping away. And again, the reason I'm saying that is not because I don't understand why you're jumping away, but if we understand the call, not that I don't think you fully got it to be honest, right? Which is like fine. I don't think that's like the easiest thing to instantly spot. I just played this game a little bit too much. But now, they're also, to be fair, they're also making a misplay. Herc should not be coming to this. They should be going to these Phoenixes and backdooring them. That's the point. So they're also making a misplay. I think it's salvageable if you full commit. Maybe. Probably not. It's a bad follow through. But the point is we commit here, and you just have to like triple down on this. You're gonna die here. It's all good. You're literally inting for damage at this point. But if you int for damage, you can't jump away. So before when I said you can't jump in, and if you're going to jump in, you have to know you're going to die for it. This is where you jump in. Like, you just up down or you literally just ult in place. Because this jump away and then turn around back in is just, like, not going to do you well. I think with a lot of these tanks, you have to play with the fact that, like, Nemean is your full commit code. But the moment we're kind of running around back and forth, now we're jumping away, jumping back in, maybe it goes okay, but it's like, it's going to go better if we just full commit from the start, pop Nemean. Because we now are finally popping it. And again, uh, we're at no damage, right? So we're not getting to use our relic efficiently. And I know you had like a golden opportunity before and you got silenced, so maybe that just like kind of was like a bit fucked. You got to get bit greedy on it. But we really, if we are just like playing to the point of the item, which again, like I promise you, tanks as a whole, I would say are not great, but Nemean makes them good. So if your Nemean is either not being used well or you just don't have it or you're not using it, tanks feel bad. So tanks feel good if and only if you're using Nemean well, like genuinely. So much of that is like I think what is missing and what's making this feel like not so great a lot of these fights. Even then, despite it all, I mean, we still ended up getting a couple of picks. We got gold. They can still make that play to maybe go get a pick eventually, but we'll see. Herc's dead right now, so it's a 5v4, but I think their backline doesn't have fire, so it's kind of playable. We'll see what happens here. Geb ults, Pele ults. The 2 here is good. Yeah, I mean, they're just diving a bit too hard. I'd love to look for an ult here. Okay, they do end up popping the thing. Right here, uh-oh. Shades of this. We've seen this before. Do we get them? No, we don't. So, big thing here, I think, like, obviously getting this pick would be great. What I would just say is we've seen this kind of, like, tendency to chase a little bit. I'm not going to sit there, because, like, look, if you got the kill, obviously we can talk about this a little bit differently. What I would just say, like, we have to look at who's in front of us first, and most importantly, if he's out, he's out. It is what it is. I really just want to see you shell your team here more than anything, because we don't, and then this happens, and it's really sad. And also, remember, we have Nemean, we have Shell, we have ult still. Sucks. Agni just dashed in front of us. Let's just jump to the left and go follow him instead of chase this guy and not get him. If we're going to jump, that is. If you want to jump away, fine. But if we're going to jump, let's not jump this way, because now nothing happens, which, you know, sucks a little bit. Pele re goes in, and it's just like all over the place. I think, you know, what you're going to notice is a lot of these times you're like not loving the engage, and I feel like that's sort of a jungle habit, but because you're not loving the engage, you're like not really committing to going in. And because you're not committing to going in, either you end up dying anyways and not getting as much as you wanted to, or you're just getting nothing and then you're getting out, but it's like nothing really good happens. I think the biggest thing to take away from team fights in this game, quite literally, is just if we have Nemean and we pop it well and we are committing, because the moment you're jumping it, you're giving really mixed signals, you know what I mean? You're jumping in but running away. You're ulting and then like Thornsing, but then not popping it for the fight. So it's like, if you just commit, if you want to say like, hey, I'm going to be like pretty like low key and like play like passive and stuff, I mean, I don't think that's the right way to play. But at least you commit to that playstyle and you can tell me, hey, well, I have everything up. I have a full health bar. I can find something good. I'm going to disagree with you, but at least so you're doing that. I think you just need to commit to the playstyle more of just like, I'm just going to go in. Fuck it. Because genuinely, like, if the Nemean placements are good here, in a lot of these fights, you're just getting more value. And that doesn't mean like you should just run in 24/7 and in, but it does mean like in a spot like this, instead of ulting, we just 2 and chase him and kill that guy that is Nami. Or if we are going to ult like this here, where we do, we're going to 2, we're going to Thorns now, and we're not going to throw our stuns on the tanks. We're going to look at this Agni, right? That's the big thing, right? A lot of this game has been let's try to hit the tanks, but we're going to posture up. And again, now we're just like at the back end of a fight. We're kind of poked. We still haven't used Nemean, still haven't used it, still haven't used it. Now we've used it. It's a really good pop. I don't think we shell here. Oh, Pridwin, that's good. We did shell. Okay, so we do end up dying. But it's like, man, oh man, if we just use this stuff earlier, I swear it'd be better. I want to be clear, like this fight situation is bad. It's not really on you. We did kind of stagger deaths 1,000 times. Again, not really on you. Some of that is just the team. A lot of that is just the team this game. I'm assuming we lose here. No, we don't. Okay, wow. Holy crap, dude. How's this game not over? Okay, well, yeah, back at it. All right. Look at that. All right, so we'll see kind of how this develops here. Mid's going to get shoved. We can get gold here, maybe. I'll just skip forward a little bit. Okay, so we're playing for gold. We don't have mid up. Now, losing mid's not the end of the world. You can still like kind of come back from this pretty easily. This is a decent idea. Looks okay. I like this. It was a bit off the mark. Okay. Uh-oh. I think we ult here. We do. Good. That was really good. Now we... Wait, what happened? Okay, I guess Agni Bees. Okay. Still decent. Still not bad. Pretty good, honestly. I think this fight was played pretty well. Now, I think their backline really missed position, but overall, I think it was done pretty good. Only thing, again, is just like the Nemean pops are really late. Like you had it that whole time. Now, this fight's still not going that great. I'm not like, look, sometimes, bro, everybody loses games. I've played fights perfectly and lost the game. It happens. I think you play this fight like functionally very well. The only thing I would say is like in this spot, just pop Pridwin here so you get that damage off on them, and then Nemean here once they start hitting you, like right here, and you're really happy. That's all. That's the only thing. It's not the biggest thing in the world. I think you play this fight very well. It's unfortunately not going to go fantastic because, well, look, to be honest, like we have a Loki with Sunder. That's just bad. I think he's kind of just getting CC'd and dying. And then we're kind of like, the fight was like very stacked together, which is just not going to be a good look when that happens. Like for Agni specifically. Not that you're not, like you're in a good spot here, but what I mean is, uh, notice where Pos is. So he just gets like effectively one shot. He's 40% here. He's going to get gebbed on. And so he dies. And look at this Loki. He ults in and does what exactly? Literally nothing. And then Pele, who's ulting in on one-shot targets, is also just going to kind of die. So the fight was really good, but I think these two kind of just sold it because they just like triple committed and doubled down on something that was kind of already won. And then they stacked on the following damage, so it was just a disaster. Anyways, we all die here, and I'm assuming we lose. Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of stuff happened. I'm not going to, like... I think some of this was definitely lost outside of your control. So, like, that's just part of how games are. I'm never going to pretend here and say that if I played in every single diamond game, I would win every single match. No, 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 that's not the case. Some games you're going to always lose no matter what. Absolutely. But I think we can say that, like, reasonably in a lot of these fights, the biggest problem that we're having is relic timing usage, where we're just not really, like, pressing them. I don't really think it's even the timing usage. I think it's just commitment to, like, the identity of what we're trying to do with how we're playing. And a lot of it, if you're not wavering, you just full commit or you just full run out, I think you're going to have a lot less deaths and a lot more success. And if we're popping our active items in, like, cohesion with that, we're going to have a really good look more often than not. Again, you're never going to win 100% of your games, but let's say you have a 50% win rate. I guarantee you, if we're doing that, we're moving that up by at least 4%, just off that alone. And then all of a sudden, if we're stuck, quote unquote, in a rank, we're not stuck. We're stuck in 2 divisions up of whatever we were at. That's a pretty big jump. You're pretty happy with that most of the time. So that alone is a big thing. I just think a lot of the time, though, in this laning phase, we try to look for some kind of outplays and stuff. When again, we really just had to kind of commit to the, hey, either we go in or we get out. Let's not do this kind of like meandering middle path in the laning phase, team fights, whatever. The patterns kind of persist, even though they look a little bit different. And then I think the big thing then also just besides that is just when it comes to rotating, we had a lot of space this game. Despite the fact that we are literally like losing the game after getting decided right here, you're down 800 gold to this guy. And look how much better his stat line looks from a farming perspective. 5,629 to 5,915. And we're down 800 gold. When remember, like, they have more gold furies. They got obviously more towers and phoenixes and shit because, they're ending the game. Your farming, although it wasn't great, I stressed it so much because if you're farming so many times, I mean, we spent like a solid 4 minutes this game doing literally nothing, right? A lot of the time. If we're still only down 800, what happens if we're like on top of it from second one? We're up 2k, you know what I mean? Like just straight up, that simple. And, you pair that with, well, what happens if we're on top of our farming and then we don't die to some of those ganks that we could have easily fixed? You know what I mean? What happens if, like, all of a sudden this really like springboards up and up and up and up? And I'm not saying all that to say like, hey, like let's pump you up and be like, yeah, if I just do this, that, and I can see it and I get it. I don't think you're going to queue a rank game right now and all of a sudden everything's going to perfectly click. But if we can just hammer in these inconsistencies and we can continue to hit them, you're going to kind of like just improve on some of them at least right away. Even if it's literally just the, hey, I got to pop my health pots a little bit faster, especially if I'm going 6. Like remember that. Like just even if it's just that, and if we can over time get those, you're gonna like over the course of a couple weeks jump up 3 divisions. I promise you. Just that simple. So it can be that simple. Yeah, absolutely. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Totally. Mhm. Of course, absolutely, man. Yeah, so definitely just I think playing. Remember to your items, whether it's potions or it's anemia or whatever it is, playing on the commitment. And again, if you're gonna jump in, you got to realize you're probably gonna die. So find out if you're cool with that. I think the biggest thing though, genuinely, like across the board, across all of this, is ahead of time when you're coming out of base and you're in that dead zone. Try to just like come up with a bit of a plan. You don't need a perfect one, but it's like, okay, if I'm going to jump in, I'll probably die. Do I want to jump in? Just know ahead of time because that's probably going to happen if you have to, right? Or like, hey, I need this much gold for my next item. How, like, let me pay attention to that. Or I'm coming out of base, so I'm going to rotate. Is there something to come to? And if there's not, no problem. I'm just not going to do it. That's it. And I think you do that, you'll be pretty set, honestly. So, yeah. All right, man. So I'm going to end this recording now and I think we are all good. Alrighty. Boom. Of course.